might be in 5 years' time?
Hopefully a world champion. That's my aim. I won practically everything in the amateurs there was to win, and if there's anybody that's got a chance to go on and be a world champion, it's definitely me. So I'm going to give it my best shot. I'm going to keep listening to my trainer Billy, keep learning and take each fight as it comes, and that's what I hope to be. I'm quite confident I can be up there.
Good talking to you. Hope all the dreams come true.
Well, hello and welcome to our weekly boxing chat on Sky Sports News. I'm Andy Scott. I'm joined in the studio by Matthew Macklin as we reflect on the tragic passing of British boxing legend Ricky Hatton. Matt, there's no real easy way to say that. I think we're going to try and navigate this, as best we can. Please bear with us. It's been a strange 2 days. It's a real tough few days for everybody connected with boxing. You knew Ricky, great friend of yours. You trained with him, and you must have wonderful memories. I don't know how you're feeling right now and how you've been able to process the news.
Yeah, it was just a massive shock. It was the kind of highs in boxing on the Saturday night with Crawford and Canelo, and then to hear that on Sunday is just like just so out of nowhere as well. I know he'd had some battles in the past, but it seemed like he was in a much better place. And to lose someone so young, such a character as well, such a colourful personality, someone that very humorous, wasn't he, Ricky? Very, very funny, loved humour. Shocking news.
Yeah, I don't think people will mind me saying that one of the things that we've already done the podcast today, one of the things you found that helps you is actually remembering some of the brilliant memories that you had with him. As you said, a terrific character. Anyone that saw his after dinner stuff, like a brilliant comedian. What are some of the better memories and the best memories if you have from those gyms? Probably not all of them are suitable for on air, but must have been a brilliant chapter in your career training alongside him.
They were the best days. The best days. Ricky, Matthew, Paul Smith, Gomez, Billy, Kerry, Bobby Rimmer. I mean, just a gym full of characters. And of course, Ricky was the star guy, wasn't he? Everyone was benefiting from his success boxing on those undercards of those huge nights. Those trips to Vegas, the Mayweather fight, just unbelievable. The amount of people that went over there. People in Vegas, the blackjack dealers and roulette dealers, they just couldn't believe it. They'd never seen anything like it. I know they'd had, Miguel Cotto and Mayweather had boxed there, and De La Hoya had big followings, but the kind of, let's be honest, the boozing and the partying was a big part of the crowd that followed Ricky.
Can you ever imagine that Las Vegas would run out of beer? Yeah. Can you ever believe that? And it did with that 30,000, I think we know now, don't we, went over. And the more the story grows, it's 50,000, it's everything.
I think they even ran out of mixers, they ran out of lemonade.
Yeah, unbelievable times. Let's welcome a guest to the show with many fond memories of the Hitman. Welcome to the boxing show, commentator and former trainer, and all-round boxing knowledge, Teddy Atlas. Teddy, I wish we were talking to you in better circumstances, if I'm being honest. Matt Macklin's here with me, and we're talking about the great times that we had alongside Ricky Hatton. What did it mean to the American audience and, I suppose, the American fight landscape, someone like Ricky Hatton coming over there?
I refer to a saying that's been around boxing, that the ring is the chamber of truth. And in that way, there's never been a more honest fighter than Ricky Hatton. Think about what that encapsulates. I mean, he just gave you everything every time he got in the ring. He gave you an honest day's work. He poured it all out. And he was always committed to doing anything he could do to get to that other guy from bell to bell. He was everything that a fight fan wants. And not just a fight fan, but somebody that wants to aspire to be better. To say, you know what, I'm having my own little fight in life, and which we all do. I mean, life is a fight. That's the prism that I look through it, being in boxing for 50 years. And they see Ricky Hatton, not the most neon talents, if you will, in the world, but the great will, the great heart, the great relentless pressure. When that bell rang, he he was moving forward. He was getting inside. He was going to your body. He was going to try to break you down, take your will away, take your oxygen away. And for people, besides it being a great watch for the fans, it allowed them to say, hey, when you're determined enough, when it means enough to you, when you work hard enough, you don't have to be the fastest guy. You don't have to be the slickest guy in the world. All you have to do is be very determined like Ricky Hatton and never give up, never give in, find a way. And that's what Ricky did. And I mean, he beat a great champion in Tszyu to win his first title. So it wasn't like he had an easy road to it. You know, he went through the fights that he went through. He got to the title fight for the junior welterweight title against Tszyu, and he did what was really a shocker to most people. He broke down Tszyu. Again, Tszyu was a better pure puncher. He was just a great amateur and a great world champion. But Ricky, that didn't matter. He found a way to take those talents away, to even the playing field with pure grit, as I said, determination, resiliency, and those are things that everybody can wrap their head around. Again, you don't have to have been born with a silver spoon. You don't have to have been born with the greatest genetic pool in the world. You look at Ricky Hatton and you say, if he could do it, I could do it. I got to go do it. So to me, I look at him that we've lost more than just a guy who's a former world champion. We've lost an example. We lost an example, a teacher. Because fighters like him teach us that we can be better, that we can do what we're not supposed to do. And that's a great loss. And I love the way people should know about this too, that as much as he was committed when the bell rang to going out there and attacking that guy and staying on that guy's chest, going to his body, he was committed also to helping people. He was committed to using boxing and his experience to talk to young people, to talk to them about what to do, what not to do, but about how they can be buoyed, they can be embodied, they can be lifted up by boxing. The confidence, the direction, the discipline that it gives them. And he went out there and he talked to a lot of kids about that. Kids that were not always inclined, to be on the right track. And he did everything to get them back on the right track and to use his experience, to use boxing as the tool to do that, to tell kids that, hey, you might have problems here at home, in school, in different areas, but you know what? You can overcome those things. I overcame them. So it's a great loss. And like I said, it's more of a loss just as a human being for me. I spent time with him in Saudi Arabia in the last year and a half, and we had a lot of good talks. Really good talks. And I'm so happy my son was with me because when he heard the news, he was very upset about it, as most people were. And he said, Dad, one of the greatest things about going to Saudi Arabia with you on all these trips is I got to meet Ricky Hatton and talk to him and see the kind of person he was and feel. Because that was the thing. He made you feel him with the body shots. He made you feel him when that bell rang. But if you talk to him, he made you feel his genuineness, his care for other people. He made you feel that too. And again, in that way, I make him very special, more than just a guy who held some belts.
Teddy, thank you so much for coming on and paying your respects. A wonderful tribute from you there. I wish we were talking to you in better circumstances, but hopefully we'll catch up with you soon. But I'm sure everyone associated with Ricky Hatton will thank you for your words.
God bless.
Some of those memories are great, aren't they? I want to touch on Tszyu. Ricky was desperate for the crack at the world title. And when Frank Warren made the Tszyu fight, Costa was at the top of his game. You were in and amongst like the thick of it. A lot of people, I think, outside of your team thought that the promoter had made a wrong choice, that it wasn't the right thing to do. Do you remember your memories of that? We're looking at it now, it's going to be quite emotional, I think, but unbelievable atmosphere. And it was 2 a.m, wasn't it? Because it was for American broadcast.
Yeah, I'll never forget this night. It was one of those nights where there was something, I just felt like there was something special in the world, in the air. It was like there was like an electric atmosphere because it was so late to suit American television. And I remember walking into the MEN Arena that night and, like I said, there was a gang of Australian fans walking, and I don't know what the song was, but it was like the chorus bit was like Tszyu, Tszyu, Tszyu. And I remember just getting the butterflies in the stomach because we knew this was a different level, that we'd never been to this before. This was the first fight where Ricky wasn't the favourite. In fact, he was a massive underdog. Tszyu coming into it off a big win against Sean Bay Mitchell, look back to his destructive self. And lots of people, even the believers in Ricky, people who did believe he was world class, but they didn't believe he was going to beat Tszyu.
This is the moment, Matt. This is the one, isn't it, that lives long now?
And not only did he beat him, but he broke him. He broke him, and he didn't come out for the final round. Teddy Atlas talked about it there, making it his type of fight, bringing it, levelling the playing field, I think was the term he used. He didn't allow Tszyu the time and the room to line him up for those big shots. He jumped on him, he set the pace, he dictated the terms, and he made it a dogfight. He made it a grueler, and his stamina and his work rate and his will to win, cheered on by the 20-odd thousand people in the arena that night, was just, that'll be a night it was one of the best nights ever in boxing that I've experienced.
Yeah, a brief one before we go, last one on that. The Sky documentary that, God, there's so many things you can pick out of that now, but there's that great moment where trainer Billy Graham says after it was all said and done, we got a taxi back to where we live and people were lying in the streets as we got out and they were applauding us, and Billy breaks down. Would you go as far as saying that probably is one of the great nights of British boxing, one of the great wins?
Definitely. Billy used to talk about it afterwards, that was from the age of 17 when he was still an amateur but training with Billy. That was the night they talked about. They talked about not just being world champion, but being the number one, being the man that beat the man. And Tszyu was the man. Yeah. He wasn't just the best super lightweight in the world. He was universally regarded as one of the best pound-for-pound fighters in the world. And Ricky beat him. Not just beat him, made him quit.
Answer me 2 questions. Who have you come to see? Floyd? Me? Who's taking the belts? Let's have him.
Welcome back to part 2 as we remember the incredible career of Ricky Hatton and how he took British boxing to places we never thought possible. Matt, that's no understatement, is it? Ricky's American adventures, it represented a period that I don't think anybody thought was possible for him to go over to America, take all those fans with him. Incredible, really. You're part of all of that. I mean, we say it in jest a lot of the time. You've got a key part in the 24/7 HBO documentaries that won Emmys because of your behaviour out there, if I can say it like that. But you shared some of Ricky's adventures. They must have been amazing out in America.
I mean, it was a very special time in British boxing, and personally for me, a special time in my life to be around it as a young fighter coming through, aspiring to try and, emulate him or copy him or achieve even a percentage of what he achieved. To follow in those footsteps if possible. It was a great learning experience, and to see how he conducted himself, how he dealt with everything, how he coped with all the pressure and the media events. He was because it wasn't just the boxing and the training. He was unbelievable on the other side of things. How he dealt with people, how engaging he was, how he gave everyone his time, how he handled the pressure. So he was, he was such a great role model to be around.
Yeah, they're well said, Matt, yeah. Let's welcome a man who played a major role in one of Ricky's fights in the US. Welcome to the show, boxing promoter, amongst other things, Lou DiBella. Lou, again, I echo, I wish we were talking to you in better circumstances. The Vegas fight weeks for Ricky against Mayweather and Pacquiao were legendary, and arguably they'll never be repeated again. What was the American perspective of, I don't know, the British invasion, I suppose?
Well, I love the video you just saw before I came on of the Mayweather fight. That weekend, Vegas was Manchester. I mean, it really was. And when he said, who were people here for? Oh, they were here for Ricky Hatton. I mean, there were 25,000 people from Manchester there. And, like, that was the beauty of Ricky. I mean, was there anyone that ever represented Manchester more loyally or better? Was there anyone who frankly represented the UK in boxing any better? He was every man. He was the most approachable. The only, like, I had this conversation yesterday with Thomas Hauser, the Hall of Fame boxing writer, the Ali biographer, and we agreed that in our entire times in boxing, and he's been in it longer than I have, and I've been in it 35 years, the only fighter I can compare the impact of to his own community, to his own country, to his own people, and then eventually to the world, was the greatest of all time, Muhammad Ali. That's the kind of impact Ricky had on the people of Manchester, on the people of England, and then eventually on the world, because if you met this cat, you liked him. If you met Ricky Hatton and you spent any time with him, you generally walked away feeling like he was your friend, and that was the case for millions of people in Great Britain and the entirety of Manchester, every fan of Manchester City football team. I mean, Ricky was special. Ricky was different.
Lou, I've probably got time for one quick one before we let you go. How do you think he'll be remembered?
Well, he's the pride of Manchester, but he's going to be remembered, frankly, as being maybe one of the most approachable athletes ever. I mean, I don't want to get religious, but if you believe that there's one fundamental rule in life, treat other people like you want to be treated, the gates of heaven swung open widely for Ricky Hatton.
Lou, thank you so... Sorry to cut you off there. Thank you so much for coming on. And great to hear from you. I just wish it was in better circumstances. But thank you for giving up your time for us today on Sky Sports News.
Ricky deserves all the time.
Top man. Thank you, Lou. Let's go straight to another guest whose voice really, let's be honest, was synonymous with many of Ricky's biggest fights and biggest nights. Welcome to the show, Michael Buffer. Michael, thank you so much for coming on. We know how well Ricky was supported. What was he like to announce, if I'm allowed to ask you that? Because I don't want to ask you for favourites or anything like that, but the Hitman Hatton, it had a real ring to it. What was it like to announce him in front of those fans?
It was always so exciting because whenever I introduced him, there was always that massive crowd of support and love and everything. And of course, looking back, I can't even, it was so difficult for me to even like say anything on social media. I haven't even been able to do it yet, just to write anything. But when he fought at Man City Stadium and had 55,000 people there, and it was after he had lost, I think, to Mayweather, and he came back, went back down to 140, and I remember when I announced him as the winner. The fight was against Juan Lascano in May of 2008. And when I announced his name, he put his arm around me and I said his name like right to his face. And it was a great moment.
Yeah, we're looking at these pictures right now. Michael, we're actually seeing these pictures right now.
It was just special. It's hard to even talk about it now.
Yeah, take a moment, please, because I think for us it's very raw at the moment. I think we're all quite numb to it, to be honest, and struggling to process. Didn't think we'd be doing a show like this. Hatton Mayweather, the chalk and cheese personalities, do you think that's what made that so special? You know, not really including the fight itself, but we will never see a build-up like that again, I'm pretty certain. You know, we showed shots before the break of you announcing them at the weigh-in and stuff. You know, could you even in your wildest dreams have comprehended 30,000 Brits coming and leaving their mark on Vegas?
With the Manchester crowd there, I don't think Vegas has ever had an invasion like that. It had to be 20, 25,000 people. And of course, that band that always traveled with the horns and drums. And, you know, there's only one Ricky Hatton, and it just reverberated all through the casino and the hotel, and it was amazing.
Michael, I'm going to let you go there. Yeah. I know that's been quite emotional for you, so I really do appreciate you giving up your time. We wanted to give you every chance to come on and say your words. Thank you for everything that you gave us there. It was brilliant.
Thanks for having me, and rest in peace, Ricky. It's just amazing.
It's very tough hearing everybody giving these tributes, but I know everybody wanted to come on. Would you give me the last sort of 20 seconds? How are you going to remember? Everyone's given a great tribute there about the Ricky the fighter, Ricky the fan favourite. How will you remember your great mate, Ricky?
Well, he's such a... I think Lou DiBella said it good there, so approachable. You know, one of the... what a great fighter, what a great role model, what a hard trainer, disciplined, dedicated, focused, driven, guts. Teddy Atlas mentioned it, that will to win, a really honest fighter, left everything in there every single time. Just very lucky and blessed to have been around and been a part of his journey and to have learned from someone like him.
Thanks so much, Matt, for giving your time to us today. So thanks to all of our guests for joining us to pay respects to Ricky the Hitman Hatton, a man who changed the face of British boxing forever and created amazing memories for his army of fans. There will only ever be one Ricky Hatton.
How would you like to be remembered?
Well, people will make their own minds up, you know, of how good a fighter they actually think I was. But, you know, I would maybe, in a sentence, the world champion, that was one of us.